Okay, I'm here with Elijah, and I'm really looking forward to our talk. And Elijah, would you like to introduce yourself shortly?
Yeah, so my name's Elijah Everill. I'm from England. I'm from Telford, actually. It's a small town in the Midlands of England. And I'm a 14 times WACO world champion and a member of the All-Star team.
Cool. Elijah, first I want to ask you if you are talent or hard work. What do you think?
I think, to be successful in anything, I think you need to have both. You always need the talent first, and then it's about working hard also what you do with your talent. So I think that I always had a passion and love for our sport, and I happen to be quite talented as well at an early age. But there's many talented people out there that don't have the right work ethic or mindset, and I think that's what separates the best from everybody else, is that they have both. They have the talent, but they also have the dedication and the discipline to work hard every day. So I think I'm a little bit of both.
Nice. Okay. I just wanted to get that one out the way because I think often I hear athlete use it as an excuse, like, but I don't have the talent. I can never be like Elijah. But when you break it down, it will always come down to hard work, I think. Like,
Absolutely,
yeah,
because the information is out there. The coaches are out there. It's
exactly.
your job to go and find that information to better yourself.
Exactly.
Take you guys for example, living in a totally different country, and then you go and train. You change your whole lives to go and live in Hungary to train with the Corelli team. It's
Exactly.
that's the dedication that you need to be successful. So there really is no excuse. And yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you seem to get. That's what I always
That's
say.
right. So true. But you made the same decision. You went overseas.
Only for a little while.
Hmm.
I went over there. I just spent a summer in the States.
Ah,
I went
nice.
to California. I
Hmm.
spent 8 weeks there, and it was just a short trip really. I didn't really have plans to stay there long term, even though we have spoke about it briefly before. But yeah, it was just a trip for the summer, and I
Nice.
had such a great time there as well. And obviously, in America, where in California, you've got some of the best fighters in the world there, and the best coaches
Absolutely.
like Raymond Daniels, Jack Felton, all my teammates. So it was a great time that I had out there.
Nice. That's good to hear. Okay. Elijah, I know you have a strong mentality because I watched an interview with you. I shared it yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but you said
Yeah, I
something
did.
about the losing is not an option, and like you almost get offended that your opponent is standing on the mats with you, right? So I
Yeah.
know you have this like on fire mentality. And actually, that's something called an athlete identity, right? So you kind of put on an identity before you go on the mats. And I
Yeah.
would like to talk to you a little bit about what is this identity doing for you? Like, you also have a ritual, like you're doing some things on the mats before. Like, what does it give you? Why do you do this?
I think is really important because you need to separate yourself, your day-to-day self. I have the nice guy Elijah, and then I have the fighter Elijah. They're two totally different people. So I'm always trying to be kind and respectful to people when I'm off of the mats, and nice. I try to be as nice as possible to everyone that I meet. But when it comes to fighting, there's only one thing on my mind, and that's winning. And if you're in my way, then I feel offended. It's because I don't think anyone puts the work in that I do. I truly work hard, and I love this sport, and I'm so passionate about it. So for somebody to put themselves in my division is almost like an insult to me. That's how I feel. I actually take it personally. It's like, you actually think you can beat me, and that hits, that just, it's personal. So when it comes to fighting, I go out there, I do my job. And yeah, as for the rituals and stuff, it's a way that I flick the switch
Mhm.
from. That's the way that I change.
Mhm.
So I do my little ritual. I do my warm up routine, which is always the same. And
Nice.
then when I go out there to fight, I know it's game time then, and I got to change from the other Elijah, to the person that's out there on the mats that's got to do business. Because if I carry that nice guy mentality onto the mats, it's not going to work. These fighters are top level. Everybody's a savage. Everyone wants the same thing. They all want to win. So you have to go out there, change that mentality, change that mindset, and go out there and assert your dominance. And that's what I try and do every time I fight.
Nice. Okay, I really like what you said about the warm-up, because especially like if you were playing volleyball or football, you would know, okay, at 2 the game is starting, but in kickboxing you never really know. So just having a warm-up routine is so important. You know exactly how warm you can get, and you can be ready in this amount of time. And I really
exactly
like that.
I think the repetition part of it is really important. Like doing the same thing over and over again, and that comes also with time and experience of competing. So you need to go out there and compete many times and try different things that help you to get the best performance out of it. So I was doing lots of different warm-ups for years, and then I found the warm-up routine that I do to be the best. So that's why I carry through now, and I do the same thing pretty much every time I go out there to fight, because I know that's going to give me the best chance of winning. That's how I get my mind focused and my body ready for action. So that's what I try and do.
Yeah. And so what about this ritual? Like, did you also try different things, or how did this exact thing come up? And did you notice that if you tried something different, that it also did something different to your game? Like, how did you get so focused on this one thing?
Well, to be honest, I don't really do anything special, and it's just something that I've carried through. Like, as soon as I get onto the mat, my dad was the main guy who was coaching me when I was younger, and me and my dad just came up with it one day, and we said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we flick the switch. And then I go out there and perform. So it was like one of those things I always did with my dad. And then now whoever's coaching me, I always tell them that I want to do the same thing. So for example, if I have a different coach behind me for a certain tournament, then I'll tell them exactly how I need to get myself in the zone, and then they can learn from that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it started. It was just one of those things me and my dad did when we were younger, and then I just do it every time now. And I have my signature little thing where I take a big deep breath, and then I bring my arms back behind my head, and it's sort of just my way of channeling the energy. And it's like the last little breath out that just relieves you of all of the stress, and then I know it's ready, it's game time.
Nice. That's really cool, especially because when you are on the national team, you will face the fact that it will not be your coach who will be behind you most often, right? So
exactly. And I have quite a few different coaches that sit behind me, so if I'm in the States, it could be Ray or Jack or somebody like that. So we do the same thing. Or maybe if it's in a GB team, I have Sean and Billy, so we do the same. So wherever I go, I always communicate with my coaches what I want from them and keep it the same. I never change anything.
Important. Yeah, super important. Okay. And then I'm interested in hearing, like, how early in your career did you become interested in this mental part of the game? How early did you realize how important this is?
Well, I've been lucky enough to have great parents. So as soon as I started competition, my dad was already teaching me about mindset and emotions and adrenaline and how to deal with nerves and all of these things. Nice. So, I would read books when I was a kid. I would read like adult books to help develop my understanding of how to control that energy, how to get my mind in the right place. And then it's just gradually gone through, and I've developed even more of an interest for it as I've got older. And I think watching the very top athletes as well, I'm a big sports fan, so I watch a lot of sports. I don't just watch, kickboxing, but I watch all sorts of sports. Kobe Bryant was one of my idols, and very similar to what we were saying earlier about like changing your mindset. Kobe talks about like being Kobe Bryant off the mat and off the court, sorry. And then when he gets onto the court, he's the Black Mamba. So it's like a total different personality, a total different person that goes out there. And that's kind of what I try and do as well. So people like that you listen to and you pick things up from them, and it sort of rubs off. So I'm always listening to like interviews from the very top people within their sports, like Kobe, like Tom Brady, like Cristiano Ronaldo, these people, Michael Jordan, these people that have achieved true greatness. And yeah, I'm really like interested in that side of it. So I try and take things from them.
Nice. I especially love like the immediately after the games interviews, because that's like the full emotion, like wow.
Natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you also quickly realize why they are where they are, right? Because you can hear how they talk and how they like their view on the game and on everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the good and the great. Like we said earlier, you know, you can have talent, but you've got to have the right mindset and the ability to work hard daily. And I think without those two things working hand in hand, then you don't have a chance of being great. So you see these top guys that go out there, they've all got elite level mentalities, every single one of them. And they may not even be the most gifted physically, but because they have that unreal mindset and just refuse to lose and will win at all costs, that's what separates them.
Exactly. Okay. How do you make sure that you continuously develop your mental game, that you're not just stuck in one place?
I think, you know, my mentality is changed slightly, but I try to. I think I'm at a very good place mentally now. Before, when I was like coming up, you know, my early years as an adult, and also in my teenage years, I was trying to become the best. I was trying to become one of the best. So that was what made me really hungry. Like I had the fire in my belly, and I wanted it. I wanted it more than anything in the world. I wanted to be one of the best fighters in the world. And as the years went on, and you know, I kept that same hunger. I started to win titles. I started to win big events and grand champion events and things like this. And then I got to the top. Like I'm at the top level now. In that top tier of fighters, those elite fighters. And now it's sort of shifted from being the hunter to being the hunted. So now there's like a target on my back where I know everybody wants to beat me. So I just have to keep disappointing them now. That's my goal, is like, you can try and beat me if you want, but I'm just going to keep disappointing you. So I crave being the best. I want to be the very, very best that I can be. And I don't want to be one of those fighters that just made it, stayed there for a little while, and then went back down and let somebody else take their spot. You know, I'm not one of those people. I want to be I want to be one of the greatest of all time. So to do that, I need consistency and I need the constant fire in my belly. You know, so I'm never satisfied. I'm always chasing new goals, and I think that's really important, is the fact that you have goals there that you want to chase, things that you want to attain, because without that, it kind of like dampens down the fire in your belly a little bit. So I'm always like, if I accomplish one thing, these are my two favorite words: done and next. They're my two favorite words. I complete one thing that I want to do, I forget about it. It's gone, it's done, it's in the past. Move on to the next one, win the next one, then win the next one, then win the next one. And that way you never get caught out looking back, and you're always staying hungry. So that's my goal right now, is to stay hungry, keep chasing titles, keep winning. And eventually, hopefully, that'll pay off, and I'll be one of the best to ever do it.
Nice. So, because I was also wondering, when you already win the world championship, when you win the grand champion at the Irish Open, all of this, you kind of like, okay, did it. But then what keeps you motivated? What is the next goal?
So, well, one of the goals is Raymond has 10 Irish Open
11?
grand champions. So of course I want 11. No, but I mean, that's an incredibly difficult thing to do, and you know, only Raymond Daniels can really say that he's done anywhere near that. So you know, that's incredible, and you know, we'll see what happens with that. But obviously now is exciting times for our sport too. So we've got the Olympic recognition now. So we're in the European Olympic Games. We have the World Combat Games coming up in 2023. So all of these things are like, you know, just keep stoking the fire. within me, and I'm super focused on going and winning those. And yeah, like I said, like I want to be, I don't want to just be one of the best right now or for a short period of time. I want to be one of the best ever. So it's about being consistent. You have to be on the top for a long time in order to become one of those elite people, those elite few, where you can really say, no, I was one of the best to ever do it. So I've been there for a couple of years now, but I'm nowhere near finished. So I'm just constantly setting new goals, like those European Olympics, like the World Combat Games. I still want to chase some more grand champions out in the States, and there's a couple that I don't have here in Europe also. So I'm going to go and get those for sure.
Amazing.
And that's what's keeping me motivated.
That's so cool to hear, because I could be afraid that good athletes like you would think, okay, that was it, now I move on or go party or something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, but you can never celebrate something for too long, it's I a quick example was like when I fought in the Dublin World Championships. This is Junior World Championships years ago, and I did three divisions, and there was also the team event as well, and I had all of my finals on the same day. I had like one fight in the morning, one fight in the afternoon, one fight later. And I always talked to my dad about this too, and the first fight was in kick light, so I won my kick light final, but became world champion. And everybody was running up to me and giving me high fives and hugs and congratulating me. Oh, well done, you're world champion. I looked at my dad and he looked at me, and we said, the job's not finished. We got to keep going. We didn't come here for one world title. We came here for all of them. So, you got to keep, it's like we didn't even think about winning that world title, which most people would be absolutely ecstatic about. Exactly. And they'd be happy to go home with a gold medal. But me and my dad, we just had that mentality, like, no, we came here to do a job. It's not done. You've only completed a third of it. Let's go and do the rest. And then, we shifted that mindset back to, okay, let's get ready for the next one. And we did the same in the second fight. I won the point fighting. We went back to the warm-up area. Let's get ready for the next one. Won the light contact. Still didn't celebrate. Went back to the warm-up area, and then we won teams. So, and then finally, okay, you can enjoy yourself after the teams. 4 goals. We'll leave it at that for now. For now, yeah. And then that was it. So then, but within 24 hours of winning something, I'm back in the gym ready for the next one. And I just try, like I said, done and next. 2 favorite words. Amazing. Get it done. Move on to the next one. Don't celebrate too long. Don't look back and think, oh, look at what I've accomplished, because that's how you're just gonna lose that hunger. So
exactly. And I think the same goes with when you don't accomplish something you wanted, right? When you are down, or if you didn't have a good game, like, okay, give it 24 hours, but then move on, forget about it.
Exactly. That's the other thing as well, because it works for both. The done next thing, or the next one, I always say it goes both ways. You can be on the top, you can be winning, focus on the next one. You lose, focus on the next one. You make mistakes, focus on the next one. Don't make it again.
So true. And I also just wanted to mention, because back to what you said in the beginning, now you say it was your dad, so you've been obviously very lucky to have someone so wise next to you, and who knew exactly what you had to do. But I just wanted to say that this should not be an excuse. Like, no one should sit out there and think, oh, my dad is not like Elijah's dad, so I cannot do it. That's not true. You find those mentors because they are out there, people out there willing to help you. You just have to go look for them.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be a parent, or it could be absolutely anyone. It could be a coach, or an older brother, or even just going on YouTube and I do, like watching the very best and try and take away from their mentality. So it's absolutely not an excuse, but you do have to work hard, and you have to go and search for it yourself. Nobody's going to hand you anything in life. You got to go out there and take it for yourself if you really want to be successful.
Exactly. Okay, so interesting. But let's move on to the preparation for competitions, because I'm super interested in this topic. I would like to know, how do you prepare, and both from the tactical, but of course also from the mental part. But maybe we should start with the tactical. Like, you will, I heard you say in an interview that you analyze your opponents. So can you kind of take me through this journey? You know, this competition is coming up. You know who will be your opponents. Like, what do you do?
So yeah, so what I always try to I try to break it down. So I'll watch it. I'll know who the main guys are in my division anyway. So I'll already be aware of them, and I try to watch some of their fights and sort of break down their styles. So there's something called SWOT analysis. I don't know if you ever heard of SWOT analysis,
Yeah.
but it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. It's a good way of categorizing what your opponent is good at, what your opponent is weaker at. So you list all their strengths, list their weaknesses, you list the opportunities of where you could score points, and you list the threats of where they could score points on you. So I try to always write those down,
I love this.
and that's a
Okay.
good way of to start strategizing. And then obviously you start to watch videos of them, and things start to become clear. And then I take that information into my training. So then I'll start doing some specific drills based on that, because I know what's going to work. But what I always try to do is, once I figure out my opponent's strengths, then I try and make them fight to their weaknesses. So for example, I know a person's a really good kicker, I don't let them kick.
Yeah.
I know a person's a really good blitzer, I never let them set up for their blitz. If they're a
Nice.
good counter fighter, then I'm not just going to blitz from too far away. I know that I have to be a little bit more patient. I have to fake a little bit more, use my angles, kick at them. There's different ways that you can approach for everybody, but my way is take away their strengths, try to make them fight to my strengths rather than me fighting to their strengths.
It's your game.
Yeah, it's your game, and then you totally take control of the situation, you take control of the fight, and then you go from there.
Amazing. And if, for example, you know you fought Roland or Toli 1,000 times, do you still go before every fight and check them out and check things?
So it depends on how recently they fought too. So if I haven't seen them fight in a while, then I would try to go back and watch the most recent fights, because obviously people are always developing, people are always getting better, coming up with new things. So it's important to watch recent fights, definitely, and not fights that happened 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. A lot can
I
happen
always
in
do
that
that.
time.
And I like to also watch my fights with that opponent too. So that's that's one of the most realistic ways of looking at it, because you've actually gone and fought them before. So then you think about what worked for you in the fight, what didn't work for you in the fight, where can you make adjustments. So I always go back and watch. If I fought the person before, I go back and watch.
That's nice. Sorry, the Zoom just did something.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Okay, but because I have some questions, because I also analyze my opponents before I fight. But the first question is, sometimes you have like 12 opponents and it's just not realistic. First of all, you will definitely not fight half of them or more than half of them. And the second part is, like, so much stuff cannot be in my head. Like, how do you deal with that?
So I think, like I said, you kind of know who the top ones are anyway.
Yeah. So you
When you
focus on
first
those.
see who's in your division. So I try to focus on those, the ones that are going to be a really big threat. But obviously you can't underestimate or overlook anybody. So then I think you have to, if you don't know the person, then you have to trust in your own abilities as well to figure things out. So I'm one of those people that's quite good at being able to adapt and make adjustments on the fly. I think to an extent, yes, you do have to watch, but you also need to have faith in your abilities and be ready for things to go wrong.
Yeah.
So not always stick to like a strict plan and never deviate from the plan, because things might not go as you expected, and you're going to have to be able to make adjustments quickly. So it's about recognizing when to make those adjustments also, and then making the right ones. So that's what I love about our sport, is that you have to be fast, not only physically but mentally as well. You have to have the speed of making decisions quickly, and obviously making the right decision too. So it's addictive and it's fun when you start to do it. So yeah, but that's also how I structure my fighting. So I'll have a set plan, but I also know things can go wrong. The plan could be wrong. Things that I thought would work may not work. So you try to give yourself the best chance possible when you go out there to fight with a good plan, but then you also have to trust and have the confidence in your own abilities to make adaptations.
Nice.
One of my idols, one of my heroes is Floyd Mayweather, and he is the best in the world at doing that. Probably the best ever at being able to adapt to his opponent's style. And that's one of the things that I took from him, is that he can adapt throughout the fight. He doesn't fight one specific way. Even if you watch my fights, I don't fight one specific way. I'll fight everybody slightly differently. And I think that's quite a unique thing, and not everybody can do it, because, you know, like we listed earlier, there's great kickers out there, there's great punchers out there, there's great movers out there, but they can only do that one thing. Exactly. So if you want to be the very best, you have to have an all-round game, and you have to know which tool to bring out of the toolbox for each person as well, which is it's a total different skill set. So Absolutely. you've got to know what to use against who and what sort of style as well.
But that's amazing, because also if you look at it from the other point, if I were to analyze you as a fighter, I would be lost, because if I look like even from the same day, if I watch 3 different fights, you will do different things. I will be like, oh shit, I don't know, do not know how to deal with him.
Well, the thing is, it's like earlier, like I fight to I know what my strengths are.
Yeah.
So I try to force the other person to fight to my strengths, and it's just whoever can take control of that usually has the upper hand. So that's what I try and do, is make them fight how they don't want to fight, make them feel uncomfortable, and then I can let my strengths shine through then and take over.
Nice. But that also means that you need a really you need a lot of tools in your tool set to be able to do these adjustments.
Absolutely, yeah, which is why you need an all-round game. You know, you can't just drill the things that you're good at. You need to do the things that you're weaker at also, and be able to do absolutely anything. You know, there's some fights I know that I'm going to need to use my footwork a lot more and move, and then other times I know I might be longer or faster than the other person, so I need to blitz, I need to get my scores. Or I know the person's the defensive fighter, they're just waiting for me to blitz, so I've got to figure that out too and pull something else out of the toolbox. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's being able to make adaptations on the fly, not always just keeping it like a rigid plan. You've got to be able to deviate from that plan as well to find success sometimes.
Yeah. This reminds me a lot about like my mental coach. He always tells me like, you have to be a student of your sport, and absolutely like you need to study your sport if you want to be able to know like what are the tools you can use and in which situations. Like, how did you like, do you look at point fighting like almost like a textbook, like, you know, in this situation this and this and this can happen, and I can choose to do this and this? And how did you learn all of these things? Did you sit down and write it yourself, or did someone tell you? Or
Absolutely, it is like that. You kind of know what works in what situations, and yeah, so I have like a couple of moves for each one that I'm like highly confident in throwing. So yeah, it is very much like that, but it was a bit of a mix. I figured a lot of it out for myself, because I was getting hit with these things, like I was getting hit in certain situations when I shouldn't be getting hit. And I kind of figured it out myself by fighting and actually like just making the mistakes over and over again, and then trying to find what was wrong with what I was doing. So that was one of the things. But then also, you know, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing coaches over the years, and that obviously is going to boost your IQ level up as well. So I would go to a lot of seminars. I would go to like Grillo seminars, I would go to Jardy seminars, I go to Raymond seminars, I go to Jack seminars, you know, Zolt seminars, Gombe. I'm training with the top fighters. Like whenever I get the chance to, I'm trying to take things from them. So it's a bit of both. Like I was working things out what worked for me, but also like the concepts and the strategic part of it, a lot of it came from going and finding like the very best minds out there in the sport and trying to take things from them.
Nice. Yeah. But then like this, you cannot do this without being very aware of what is happening in every situation. So like, do you bring a notebook to training, or like, do you always write down after your fights, or
I was making a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd make a lot of notes, especially when I'm going to seminars, or I film things too, like I'll record it. I think filming things is probably the best way, because you actually get like the real life, you get it from that person, if that makes sense. So they'll explain it in their point of view. If you write things down, of course, it's still good, but you kind of like that, you miss out certain details sometimes. I think it's difficult.
True. Yeah.
So by recording, I think that's the best way to do it. But I'm always doing things like that, always making notes. If I find a new thing out, then I'm writing it down for sure, and then I go back over it and drill it. And so yeah, I mean, you've got to keep track. I actually have like folders and books full of notes from years and years and years worth of training. Like there's years worth in there, honestly. So all the seminars and training camps that I go to, I always type it up, or just find some way of documenting it all. And and I always look back on that information as well, like, oh, I did this. Or even from a coaching standpoint, like if now I'm obviously a coach too, so I'm also trying to go back to things that I did when I was younger, and then try and take it into my coaching as well. So it's great for me as a fighter to do that, but also as a coach, so because sometimes you forget about these like absolute gems that you learned years ago, and you can use that for coaching as well.
Nice. This is like Elijah, you are more of an athlete than I would have ever thought. Like, I know you are great and all of this, and I also know with talent you can come a long way, but like when you go and do this, when you spend time on all of these things, when you care about these things, when you bring your brain to every training, every practice, every seminar, when you not just finish your training, when the coach said, okay, now you go home, then you are like the next level.
It's the 1%.
Yeah.
It's the 1%. You have to chase the 1%, because think about this. How many people win a competition? One person.
Yeah.
One person is the winner, right? So that means that to be that one person, you have to do things that other people think are unusual. When you're a winner, you stand out from the rest. The rest of the pack, they all lost. The one person is the person that stands out. So if you want to be that person, you have to do things that nobody else is doing. And that's what makes a difference. That's what makes you stand out. That's what differences you to the others.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I'm always trying to do, is do what other people aren't doing, and then I know I got the best chance of winning that way.
Amazing. I'm very happy about this interview right now, Elijah, because it's already better than I would have imagined.
Well, that's good. I'm loving it as well. Some great questions.
Thank you so much. I'm also very curious about your mentorship, and I think let's just talk about Raymond Daniels, because this is someone I think everyone can relate to. Oh no, someone is doing some drilling, but because I'm curious, how did it start?
Yeah, so with Raymond, the first time I actually saw Ray was Irish Open. Many years ago, probably like 2008 or something. I think it was my first time going to Irish Open, and my coach Lee Matthews was fighting in the Irish Open, and he was in the same weight division as Raymond. And I remember us being on the plane, because we were all on the same flight, and Lee was telling me, he was like, oh, I got this guy in my division called Raymond Daniels. He's absolutely amazing. He comes every year and he's incredible. So I think I'm gonna have to fight him this weekend. And then he said to us, like, if you get, like me, my mom and my dad, he said, if you get chance, make sure you go and watch him, because he's absolutely unbelievable. So at that time, we didn't really know too much about the sport. We were just thinking, oh, okay, this guy's good. We'll check him out. We're still learning. We're babies in the sport, and we don't really know anybody. So so we go to the Irish Open. Raymond's fighting, and it's against Lee. First time I ever see Raymond fight is against my coach. And I just remember watching him and Lee. I even laugh with Lee now because obviously we're still great friends and everything. But Raymond beat him, but he hit him with like a jump spinning head kick as well. And made 3 points.
Yeah.
So it was just amazing, and he was doing that to everybody. That was like prime Raymond Daniels when he was like, I think, mid to late 20s, and he was smashing everybody. Nobody came close to him. So that was the first time I saw him, and then obviously me being a young kid and a big fan, I went straight over to him, asked for pictures and everything else.
Did you ask him questions?
Actually, I was probably too shy to ask him questions back then, to be honest. He was like, a superstar. So I just went over to him and had a picture. And then he was obviously making a big fuss of all the kids as well. He's so great with the kids when he's at seminars or he's fighting and whatever. So he was always making a big fuss of the kids and playing around, joking around with us. And then it kind of like he ended up coming to England as well and doing some seminars. So I was always jumping in on the seminars, and he remembered me. And then when he saw me doing all of the drills and stuff and noticed that I had some talent, like he was taking even more of an interest and like trying to help me get better. And so we had a great relationship over the years. And then as I started to move into like my teenage years and young adult years as well, being a junior, like fighting in the adult divisions, I started to obviously get some good wins under my belt. Like I won the Irish Open a few times in the men's divisions as a junior and things like this. And he kept notice of that. We actually fought when I was on Top 10 UK. We actually fought against the All Stars one year as well, and I had a really, really good performance. And that day after the team fights, Raymond came up to me, and I think we were walking out of the City West Hotel, and then Ray and Jack were walking back the opposite direction. So we saw each other, said hi, and then he said to me right then, he was like, "Look, we're really interested in having you on the team.
Nice.
We think you've got a lot of potential, and I think I can really help you like get to that next level. So if you'd be interested, I'd like to speak to you about it when you get back home and obviously talk things over."
Wow.
And I already made my decision as soon as he walked away.
Of course.
So I was like, I was with my dad at the time as well, and then obviously we said our goodbyes. He walked the other direction. I just looked at my dad and I was like, did that really just happen? And we couldn't believe it. So obviously, I jumped on that opportunity, and it's led to so many great things. And he's an incredible mentor. And we go back to talking about mindset, things like that. Raymond has that elite mindset. He is like the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that sort of like for our sport. He has that mentality, like it's unreal. And I think by spending time with him, that rubbed off on me as well. When I really started to pick up steam, when I really started to get some big wins and winning open weights, I was winning my division consistently as a young adult, but then I wasn't winning the grand champions at that time. And then when I came back from California, it was almost like my mindset totally shifted slightly, and it just led to me being a lot more dominant when I go out there. So now when I go to a tournament, it's not successful for me if I don't win open weight, my own division, the one above. If I don't do that, it's not a successful competition for me. And I think Raymond is responsible for me thinking that way.
Amazing. That's truly amazing. I really hope there was something to learn in the story, and I definitely think there is, because first of all, like when you have the opportunity to go train with the best, like you did, like jump in every seminar and like ask questions and go out there and share them.
This is it. I mean, these relationships and things like this, they develop from you actually taking steps towards that as well. Like,
exactly.
I would never have even known Raymond if I didn't go up to him as a kid.
Exactly.
Take that picture. I would have never known him if I didn't go to one of his seminars.
Exactly.
It's one of those things, like that's why I said to you in the beginning, the harder you work, the luckier you get. So people say, oh, you're really lucky, you get to go to California for 8 weeks and train with Raymond Daniels. You're so lucky.
Yeah.
I've earned the right to do that. And
Exactly.
it's funny how things fall in line. Like you work hard over the years, you make sacrifices, your family makes sacrifices, and then it all pays off. And then things start
Exactly.
to happen for you. And that's how the world works. The world sort of shifts around you. You have your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, and you work towards them. And then these little things just happen. You're like, how did that happen? How did Raymond Daniels become like a mentor of mine? And that's how it happens. It
Yeah,
doesn't happen from you just waiting there and expecting that to happen.
exactly.
I'm not lucky at all. I just worked extremely hard, and by working hard, opportunities come, and when the opportunities come, take them with both hands. And that's the way
Exactly.
that I try and do everything.
Nice. I think it was Lionel Messi saying like it took me 17 years to be an overnight success because people see, oh, he's going to California and they don't necessarily see like
Of
every
course,
hour you put in.
of
So
course, this is it, and like I've been blessed to travel around the world and meet so many great people, but without that, like the core dynamics of working hard, showing up every day, putting in the time and the effort, this is how these things happen.
exactly.
Like I went to Hawaii, and I would never have gone to Hawaii had I not gone to California,
Yeah,
because I met the people from Hawaii in California when I went out to train there. So it's like one thing leads to another and another and another and
exactly.
another. And then
Yeah,
slowly, you start building relationships, developing different things, you get different opportunities. And yeah, you just gotta be ready to take them at all times.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's it right there. Like to everyone listening, like go talk to your idol and go ask them a question. Go show them that you're interested in them. Go just tell them that they are so nice and that you are so inspired by them because just that you will never know where that will take you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing. Okay, I want to give the listeners some inspiration, so I will ask you some short questions, and you can just give like a quick answer. I think I kind of know what you will answer because, but this is just so people can kind of hear what it takes to be a great athlete like you. So do you prioritize your sleep?
Yes, I try to get sleep as much as possible. Probably I try to go for about 8 hours if
Hmm.
I can, but obviously depending on my training schedule, work schedule, that can differentiate. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Nice. And do
but
you
I try to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you prioritize your nutrition?
Yes, I do, but I also am one of those people that isn't the best with nutrition. I will come out and be honest with that. I do like my food, and I do have a sweet tooth. But obviously, like if I'm getting ready for a competition or I have to lose weight or whatever, then obviously I'm totally focused and professional.
Nice. And this was one of the questions from Instagram. So could you just describe what like a day with your meals could look like if you are like focused on the competition?
So if I'm getting ready for a competition or I gotta lose weight, it's usually like porridge oats in the morning with like blueberries and maybe a little bit of honey or something like that. Then like lunch is like an omelette, and then in the evening it could be like uh maybe a little bit of salad with chicken or something like that. But that's when I'm cutting weight. That's when I'm really, really miserable.
Okay,
but
so
but to to be honest, like
yeah,
I try not to cut weight, to be honest. I think
yeah, yeah.
it's not
That's
so important for me,
yeah,
and my, I'm still young and I have a lot of energy, so I don't really need to go too heavy onto that. I still enjoy my food, let's put it that way.
nice. That's good. That's very important. Do you still practice very basic techniques and skills?
All the time.
Nice.
I spend very little time doing all the fancy stuff. There's a time and a place to do it, um but I think the basics are the most important thing. Basics are the most important
Absolutely.
thing. So I'm always drilling the basics, going over, especially before competition. So I actually structure it so that when I'm competing, like throughout the season, you know how busy it gets. Like February to March, for example, is like there's a tournament
Yep.
every weekend. And then same like from like March to May is really busy too. So you've got like Point Fighting Cup, Austrian Classic, Dutch Open, Hungarian World Cup, all these different events. So when I'm in that sort of season, I'm only doing
Hmm.
basics, only things that are really going to work, and just sharpening the tools that I already have. And then on the off season, like after the World Championships or Europeans, that's when I start to work on my fancy stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got like a little bit of a break, like 2-3 months where I'm not competing. So I still obviously keep myself in shape, but I'm being a little bit more, I kind of go on a different, I focus on different things, not things
Try
that
new
just
stuff
work.
and
Yeah, it's like development, like trying to get better. It's one of the things I was doing through COVID, actually, like through the lockdowns and everything like that, was I looked at where I could get better, and I tried to just work on those things when I have time to do it, because you really do have to be careful that, of course, it's good to train that stuff, but if you're getting ready for a big competition, then you can't be wasting time on things that you might have a 1% chance of landing in a fight. Drill the high percentage stuff. Drill the high percentage stuff, and then when you win in the fight, then you can have your fun, but only when you're winning by a big margin.
Nice. Do you train when no one's watching?
Always. Yeah.
Always.
I think that's the most important time to train. So I love it when people come up and say to me that I'm crazy because I train on Christmas Day, and that I'm crazy because I train on New Year's, and I'm crazy because I train on my birthday, and all this stuff. But I absolutely love that, because I know that if you're saying that to me, then I'm already ahead of you. I'm already ahead, because you're taking time off when I'm not. So that's just giving me like a mental advantage right there, because I know that you're not doing the things that I'm doing. You're not willing. That's the biggest thing, is that you're not willing to do the things that I'm willing to do.
So true.
So I will sacrifice a Christmas morning. I will sacrifice my birthday. I will sacrifice whatever to be the very best that I can be.
Yeah.
And that's all it comes down to at the end of the day, So I love it when people say that, oh, you're training Christmas Day, must be crazy.
Yeah.
No,
but
you're in my opinion, you're crazy if you don't.
Exactly.
If you're not training when the others aren't, you've missed an opportunity to get ahead of them.
Yeah. And just to try to explain, like, you can confirm if you think the same, but to people who think, okay, no, this is absolutely crazy, like, look at it this way. If you have a goal, like if your goal is to be an Olympian in 2028, then you break down everything. What does it take to get you there? And finally, you break down that you need to work on your blitz. Let's say that, right? And the blitz will take you there. Then it's not longer your birthday when it's your birthday. Then it's still the Olympics that's in your head. So it doesn't really matter if it's your birthday or it's Christmas. It's just another day where you have to practice. You have to get 1% better with your blitz, because then when it's time for the Olympics, you did all the calculations, all the work, it will be there.
Exactly. It goes back to what we were saying earlier when I said to you, how many people win a competition? One.
Exactly.
Do what others don't do. Don't follow the sheep. Exactly. Because the sheep will get you nowhere. You gotta create your own path, find your own path towards what you want to achieve. And 90% of the time, that's doing what the other people aren't doing. So that's what I do. If you're not training on a specific day, I'm training. And that actually gives me, obviously, it will give you a physical advantage, because you're going to be getting better. But also from like a confidence standpoint and a mental standpoint, if I know a rival, even when I see like, a rival might post like I don't know, some alcohol on their story, or they gone out clubbing or something like that, I'm like, yeah, well, keep going, mate. Keep going. You keep going to the clubs. I'll be in the gym, and then I'll see you on second place on the podium.
Exactly.
So that's nice. All those things fill me with confidence. You doing that, I know you don't take it as seriously as I do. So that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Next question. Do you blame things out of your control when you lose a fight? For example, let's say the referee, your opponent, your coach.
You have to expect those things. You already have to, before a competition, you already have to expect the referee's going to make mistakes. And you actually need to make your performance so dominant that they cannot go any other way. That's something that I've learned as well, because over the years, I did complain with the refs, with things going wrong, things that are like out of my control. And I've found that the best way when I perform to my best is when I just focus on the things that are in my control.
That right there. Yes.
Only the things that I can control. What can I control right now? I can control what I'm doing to my opponent. I can focus on the fight. That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
Right. I can make sure that I'm in the best physical shape. I can make sure that I've done my homework and got a game plan. I make sure that I'm ready ahead of time and I'm warmed up and stretched and ready to go. Okay.
Exactly.
Those are the things that are in my control. The referees, other things that happen, external things that happen outside of the mat, you have to blank those out. You have to blank those out and not concentrate on them, because that is not going to help you at all.
Exactly.
So,
in fact,
you know,
it's
it
just
might
taking
make,
up mental space.
exactly, it might help you feel better, because, you know, you could come off of the mat and then be like, oh, well, the referee robbed me of this many points, and you can say that, and they probably did, but you also didn't make your performance dominant enough then. So, you know, you also have to do that. It's like, take responsibility, and make your performance that dominant that they cannot go any other way. Make it clear. Don't just win by 1, win by 8, 9, 10.
Exactly.
You know.
Nice. And another quick one. Are you always motivated to do your training?
Of course I am, because I love what I do.
Nice.
But one of the things, I actually have it tattooed on me. This is one of the things that come from Kobe Bryant, is the 5 pillars of the Mamba mentality. First one is passionate. Passionate. You need to be passionate about what you do. If you're passionate about what you do and you truly love what you do, then you want to be doing it all the time. You want to be doing it as often as possible. So for me, like, because I truly love what I do and I'm so passionate about it and I'm passionate about what I want to achieve, I'm always game to train. So,
Nice.
you know, of course, there's days you feel tired and you got no energy, and, you know, but I'm passionate about what I do, and that's all I need. All I need is the passion, the spark there, and I'll go and train any time, any day, because I'm so passionate about it.
Nice. That's good to hear. My next question, I actually expected you to say no, because I mean, those Monday mornings at 5, they can be ugly, but I guess you would do anyway, like even if you're tired or out of energy or
Yeah,
something.
it really comes down to how much you love it. Some people like the sport, some people like it, but not truly in love with it. I'm in love with the sport. I found this sport when I was 5, and I loved it from the day that I started punching a pad, you know, and it's been like that ever since, and I truly love it. So for me, I will do it at any given opportunity, no matter how I feel. Like, it's a blessing for you to be able to go to a gym and train. I go to my own gym and train. It's like, you know, a lot of people would kill for that. So, you know, I truly look at it as like, I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, and I'm very, very thankful that I get the opportunity to do it on a daily basis, or sometimes multiple times within a day.
Nice.
So
nice. Elijah, it's almost been an hour, so I just want to hear, like, do you have a back end, or can we like keep going for another 10, 15 minutes?
We can keep going. I gotta go around 1, so I've got some time.
Okay, nice. Because I'm also really curious. We talked a little bit about it, but how your training is built up. So how much time do you spend training alone and training with a team? And like, when do you, okay, you mentioned when you learn new things, but like, how is it built up? And what do you do outside the physical training? What kind of training do you do?
So I structure my training. Usually I'm doing at least 3 to 4 times a week with Chris Aston. Because he only lives like 25 minutes away from me.
Amazing.
So we train together quite often. Like, I'll go to his gym, he'll come to my gym, so we're always training together. You know, there's another great champion that I've got to train with. So it's important that you train with people at the top level, you know, all the time. So great for us. We have great relationship anyway, but, you know, we train really hard and help each other out in that sense. So that's great for me. And then I also train with, I've got a few good fighters already within my little fight team at my gym. So I'm always training with them also. After I finish teaching my classes, then we have the last hour, which is usually just with my fight team. And I'm always training with them as well. So I get some extra rounds in or some extra drills in, things like that. So usually train like twice a day. And then On top of that, training alone will sort of be like on the days where I'm not training with partners, and I'll work on specifics that I want to work on. Like if I want to do footwork, I can do footwork. If I want to do kicking, if I want to do strength work, if I want to do conditioning, like I'll just adjust that accordingly. And I'm also doing a lot of running as well. I think running is very, very important, especially when you're fighting multiple divisions and multiple rounds as well,
What
like two
kind
or
of
three.
running, like 5K or like intervals?
It depends. So sometimes I'll do interval. I think intervals are probably the most realistic for what we do, because being able to go from like a jogging pace to a sprint, you need those fast twitching muscle fibers.
Exactly, yeah.
So I do those quite a lot. I do a lot of hill sprints. And then also I'll get my my 5K, my 8K, and my 10K. I get all those in as well.
Nice.
My long distance running. So I think it's important to kind of
Is it
vary
for the mentality, maybe? For like the continue doing this no matter what, or what does it give
Yeah,
you?
I think that is a good way of looking at it as well. Is like it is a mental thing, because your legs start to ache,
Yeah.
you start to feel tired, and it's like having that mental strength to push through it. So definitely that as well. And yeah, I think it's just something that I've always done. I've always liked my long distance running. It's great to clear your head also, if you're
Yeah, so
stressed or
true.
you have had like a long day or whatever. It's nice to get out there and just run, clear your mind a little bit. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. But I try and structure it that way. But every week sort of like changes depending on schedules and stuff, like Chris's schedule and things like that. But we're always trying to do like 3 to 4 sessions a week with
Nice.
each other.
And do you have a good advice for me? Because I really like practicing alone as well. And for example, at the moment, I would like to improve my blitz, but I found that if I go in front of a boxing bag, then my shoulder really start to hurt, because I don't know if it's from the constant, pushback from the bag, or
It
like,
could be.
yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have an advice? Like, how do you train, for example, a blitz where you would normally have a target?
So you can do it without a target. I like to use the mirror a lot as well, because it also allows you to see yourself. So you can see your footwork, you can see the position of your hands, you can see if your arm is locked out all the way or whether it's slightly bent. So there's these little details that you can do and go back over those. So I think training with a mirror can be very useful, very helpful. Well, yeah, I mean, if do you practice your blitzes with partners as well, or do you
Yes,
just do it
yeah.
on the bag? Yeah,
But
practicing with
when I
partners
do
is good.
with my partners, it would be at the training. So it would be like in a situation we have to do where the coach is telling us where to do. So like when I'm doing it on my own, that's where I can do like 100 reps or whatever it
Yeah.
takes.
So you just keep drilling the technique
Yeah, yeah,
basically when
yeah,
you're on your own.
yeah.
Yeah, I get
But
that.
maybe I
Yeah.
should
So
find a partner for that, just to do it and just.
I think finding a partner is good, because it allows you, like having a target there is good, because you have to think about your distance then as well.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
obviously a punch bag is good, or a static target is good. But the best way is try and make it as realistic as you can. And then if your
Always,
partner
yeah.
can actually move while
True.
you're moving, then you have to find the right moments as well to attack. So that's it's like going up in levels. So you have like
That's
the
true.
first level, which is technique. And then the next level is like, okay, you have to think about your distance, how far away you're going. And then the next one is like trying to add it all together. So you've got like movement, timing, rhythm, angles, and then the technique as well. So yeah, but I think if you're just trying to focus on perfecting the technique, there's nothing better than just doing it on your own in the air in front of
Yeah.
a mirror,
Yeah.
even though it might be boring. Like that's the sort
Oh,
of things that
so
you've got to
boring,
do.
but you gotta
Very
do it.
boring, but yeah, it's gonna help you an awful lot, So just
Yeah.
like just critiquing yourself all the time, trying to make it like a little bit faster every time, a little bit sharper every time, really helps. I was doing that for a while, just drilling in front of the mirrors, like really going back to basics, and I found it very helpful for me. So I think it'd be the same for you.
Nice. Okay. Thank you so much for the advice. And I would like to hear, you have your own kickboxing gym. We talked about it already. Do you live from
Yeah,
that? Is it your work?
yeah, that's my work. So we opened up about 6 months ago,
Nice.
and yeah, so yeah, April. We opened end of April. So it's been going great. Really enjoying it. We've already had like a lot of fighters join from like other places and stuff, and so we've already got like a decent fight team, and then with some ones that I've brought through as well.
Cool.
So we've already got a decent fight team, so I'm trying to take them to competitions now also. And then we've got a lot of beginner grades, but the beginners are really coming along well too. So their techniques are looking good, and hopefully soon they're going to start sparring and stuff.
Nice.
So it's going great. It's been a challenge, and it's definitely a lot of hard work, but very rewarding at the same time.
Amazing. This is like with Jens, my fiance, this is our dream, to have a gym. So maybe you have to come back for an episode where we talk about just that and being a coach, but that's for
sounds good.
A few years.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I have actually just one question left. I would like to hear, if someone wants to be the best fighter in the world, what is one thing they can do right now?
One thing right now, I think.
One thing they should do right now.
I think one of the things that really helps, and we spoke about it already, like surround yourself with the best people that are already doing that have already achieved what you want to achieve. Go and find those people, go to them and learn from them, do whatever you got to do, so you and Jens are great examples of changing your whole lives to go to Hungary to learn from some of the best fighters out there. So and I'm the same. I'm always chasing the knowledge. Wherever the knowledge is where I'm going to go. So that's what I would like. My piece of advice to everybody is, you want to be a lion, surround yourselves with other lions. And that's only those things are going to rub off on you. The things that make them successful, they're going to rub off on you, and they're going to have a positive impact on what you want to do.
Nice. This is great advice right there. Okay, that was it. Do you have anything you want to add, or any questions to me or anything?
Just thank you very much, Camilla, for having me on. It's been a great podcast and some really awesome questions as well.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully it's been good for you and for everyone else that's been viewing it as well. Hopefully, you've taken something away from the things that I've said, and just thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Just where can people find you? Can you give yourself a shout out, or if you have any sponsors you want to mention or anything, just you can get it out there.
So guys, I mean, if you have any like questions in particular about anything, maybe I'll raise the point in an interview and you want me to go into more depth or something, like just send me a message. I'm very responsive on my social medias and stuff. I always try to get around and respond to everyone. So if you do have a question, then just feel free to shoot me a message. Don't be shy. And I'll try and help you out the best that I can.
Nice. And like on Instagram, it's just your name, right? Elijah Everill.
Yeah, it's Elijah_Everill.
Yeah, good. Nice. That was it. Thank you so much, Perfect. Elijah. I'm so happy you wanted to do this.
And yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
When will we see you again? What competition?
Probably Golden Gloves.
Nice.
I think I'll be busy next year. I'll be doing all of the events. So I think Golden Gloves, Athens, I'll be in Athens, maybe Croatia. We'll see.
Yeah.
All of them basically.
Perfect. I hope it will be a normal year again where we can just go.
That's the thing. Yeah, but I don't know, with how things are looking right now in Austria and Germany and everything, like it's a bit strange. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah,
fingers crossed. It'll be as normal as possible, but given the opportunity, I'll be at every single one. So nice. Yeah.
Okay, that will be great. I will see you at the Golden Glove then.
Perfect. I'll see you at Golden Glove.
Okay, thank you so much, Elijah.
No worries, Camilla, and best of luck with how the podcast is going as well.
Thank you.
Like, really, we need this stuff. We need it, especially in Europe. More. Like there's things that are going on in America and they're a little bit better with their media, but I think in Europe we need someone who's gonna like push this agenda.
Exactly.
So I wish you all the best with it, and anytime you want to have me on as a guest, I'll always
I'll take
be up for it. All right, no worries.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, have a nice day, Camilla.
You too. Bye.
Bye.